I've spent the last couple of months trying to make a magazine that works in the TGR2 and solves the problems with the existing magazines. And I've done it. Here it is. This magazine fits 19 first strikes or 20 round ball, and it just fits in the TGR2. No changes needed. Slap it in. Go have fun. Couple reminders: if you're shooting round ball, make sure your detents are well adjusted. And if you're shooting first strikes, ramp your bolt. Just that little bit right there. That's all it takes. I have an entire video on why, as well as links to a jig you can use to get the ramp right. The files for the jig are free. If you know anybody who 3D prints, just say, hey, can you please print this for me? Doesn't matter what material you make it out of. But I've got a whole video on why this is necessary. That's it. M17 users. This is the mag for you. It is slightly different than my mag for the TGR2, which is why I have a piece of tape on it. Both magazines are going to be in this video. It'll make sense why I put them both in this video later, but because they're both in here, I wanted something to differentiate them. How are they different? This stack right here is just a little taller. That's it. That's the only difference. It's kind of a nice difference because that little extra space allowed me to make a taller D10, which gave it just barely enough room to fit one more round. So this is 20 first strikes, 21 round ball. Now, in order to get this thing to work in the M17, you do need to make one modification to the marker. This modification does not prevent you from using the hybrid mags, the G mags, the square head round ball mags, any of the mags you've been using. You can still use them. The reason for this modification is because the detent is based on the TGR2 detent. It's this little gooseneck thingy here that pushes back out of the way and lets paint through. The problem is, in the M17, there's no space for that. So what we do is we strip down our M17, open up the two halves, and we cut this little notch out. This is 4 millimeters this way, 8 millimeters this way. That comes out to roughly 5/32 of an inch here and 5/16 of an inch here. That's it. Take that, you cut it all the way through. That's it. It does not change the performance of the marker. If you know these things, once you air it up, the bolt comes out to about here. So it doesn't actually change anything about how the marker operates. It just allows you to use more reliable magazines. Now, I said both magazines are going to be featured in this video, and here's why. Some of you out there are like me. You're a little weird. You have a lot of markers. I own an M17, and I own a TGR2. I would like a single magazine to use with both of them. So, I made that happen. This magazine will work, the TGR2 magazine will work in the M17 with first strike flawlessly. However, it has a double feeding issue with round ball unless you use an insert. That insert is this thing right here. Once you've cut this out, it just slips right in there. Gets sandwiched between the two halves. It's certainly not going to fall out because this is in there. And what that little insert does is it mimics the extra height on this magazine. So if you're like me, and you own an M17 and a TGR2, and you only want one set of mags, you can use these. You just need the insert. I'll include that. Just let me know you're as weird as I am, and I'll throw it in. One more thing. Let's talk size. TGR2 mag. My mag for the TGR2. It's a little bigger, but you get more shots out of it, and it actually feeds first strikes. So I'd argue it's worth it. M17 mag. Again, it's a little bigger, but you get more shots out of it, and it feeds well. So again, I'd argue it's worth it.